The release of Pokemon Legends ZA is right around the corner, and with nothing but bad news regarding the game, I'm sure everyone's really excited. That is, if you can afford the down payment it'll cost to buy the game. Now, before you could spend $35 for the best Pokemon game, now you're dropping $70 for part of a Pokemon game. Not the whole thing. To get the whole game, you have to spend another $30 on DLC, and then $20 for Switch Online so you can get the ranked exclusive Megas. So now we're talking $120 for a Pokemon game. And even that, I think, is an underestimate, because it's assuming that you already have a Switch 2, which you'll need for the game to run properly. So let's bump those numbers up a little bit. And I'll be generous here. I'll use the Switch 2 bundle with ZA, making the game a little bit cheaper. So $500 for the Switch 2 plus the game, then another $30 for the DLC, and $20 for Switch Online, making it a $550 Pokemon game. Yeah, that really seems worth it. And sure, some people maybe already have a Switch 2, but you guys don't count, because no one cares about Donkey Kong, despite me liking the game. And no one cares about Mario Kart World, because the game sucks. And I've already talked about many times that the future of the Switch 2 is not looking so great, so the console is for Pokemon. I know my console is for Pokemon, because I bought my Switch 2 a month ago, and I haven't even opened the box. So I'm sticking with my new number, $550 for a Pokemon game. Now, to anyone who's sane, you'll think that's too much, it's too far, but we all love Pokemon. We're all emotionally stuck to this franchise like a barnacle on the body of a whale. So rather than drop 550 buckaroos on a game you know won't be worth it, let me offer you an alternative. An alternative that's not just cheaper, it's free. I know they say nothing is free in life, but I think it's the opposite. The only good things in life are free, because they come from two places: love and hate. The only good emotions. And while this video is made out of hate, the game I'm about to show you is clearly made from love. Pokemon Vanguard, a 40-hour Pokemon adventure, completely free. You can play on your phone or on your computer. No emulator needed, just an application. You have no excuse. Do not drop $550 on another soulless cash grab when there are better experiences for free, made by people who genuinely love the franchise. The best Pokemon game is not made by Game Freak, it is made by fans. And although I'm only going to show you one in this video, there are plenty more, and I encourage you to explore the world of Pokemon fan games. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. What makes fan games special is they're willing to do what Game Freak never would. Pokemon Vanguard has genuinely challenging battles that you actually have to use your brain for. It has a real story like you would see in any other RPG, not the phoned in, forgettable baby stories of the main games. And it has over 200 regional variants. Remember those? The Alolan forms in Gen 7? The same Pokemon you already knew, but a little different. There is a well-deserved stigma around Fakemon. The good Pokemon, you know, back when they actually tried, took months to make, just one. So you end up with some pretty great designs. With fan projects, not so much, especially when you're talking about many people with different design philosophies working on the same thing. But if you use the designs that are already good and then just modify them, that's a lot easier to come up with something that's new and interesting, but still looks like a Pokemon. So what I'm offering to you is a Pokemon game for free that has hundreds of new Pokemon that are familiar, but different enough to feel like a new experience, a completely new region to explore, gameplay where you actually have to try, not just mashing A through every fight, with 3 difficulty modes, so even if you're a huge baby or a giant nerd, there's something for you, and an engaging story inspired by the best Pokemon games, the Mystery Dungeon games. A story that may be even one step further than those, as it was made with the understanding that this is something being played by adults. There are no small children finding these niche fan games, and it's not even that edgy. Maybe a little bit, but a little bit of edge is always good. It's far better to try your best and be cringe than to not care at all and make something completely soulless. But I'll let you decide that for yourself. You see, I've buried the lead a little bit. I know the vast majority of you will never play any fan game. There's just some barrier to entry that people can't seem to overcome. So I'm gonna take you with me, and I'm gonna go through this whole game, and I'll show you why it's worth worth it to play these free games over $550 slop. And obviously, I'll be spoiling the whole game, but don't worry about it. Games are meant to be played. Being told about it is far different than playing it. Not to mention, there are plenty of other fan games that are all better than anything Game Freak has ever put out. So before we begin in earnest, make sure to like and subscribe. Now, I'm not a coward, so we're playing this on hard. And it's a baby game. I mean, it's for Pokemon fans. Surely it can't be that hard. And our name is My Lord, because I think it's funny when everyone refers to you as My Lord, but I capitalized the M because I'm dumb. But it still sort of has the effect. We begin with a dream. A mysterious voice says we have a purpose. Not what it is, but that we have one. And that they are sad to see us go. Having a purpose? Someone being sad that we're gone? If only this was real. But then we awake from the dream, and we have been kidnapped by a pick-me girl. God, I wish this was real. It turns out she found you unconscious in a park and just sort of took you home, as you do. We do our introductions. She is Destiny, boy napper extraordinaire, and we let her know we have amnesia, a classic. And you may have noticed something. Our character talks. Yeah, in this, the main character is an actual character. Something that was probably necessary to have a real story, given it's kind of weird when you just sort of stare into the abyss during major conversations. A true teasmo. So probably slightly less immersive for some of you. And the amnesia thing, although a cliche, also fairly necessary. That way we can learn about the world together with the main character. Anyway, Destiny books it, likely to go kidnap more children. In fact, I think I know how we lost our memory. Bashed over the back of the head. So we chase after her, and we find her talking to her mom in a Pokemon research facility. And she just got her first Pokemon. Incredible. That's supposed to be us. And we bust in, claiming to be her new friend. A friend no one's ever seen before. Only for her to run off again. Her mom has us chase after Destiny, given she just gave a violent criminal a weapon, so off we go again. Except this time, the elevator malfunctions, and we end up in a mysterious room full of Pokeballs. And we're flanked by masked criminals here to steal. So, as the good citizen we are, we steal a starter of our own, all of which are regional variants of the starters from all of the main games. And it's probably best to explain now how I play these games. I will always use the new Pokemon. And this is any Pokemon game, fan game or not. I want to experience what makes the game special, so I want to use only the new stuff, and that includes subsequent playthroughs. Meaning, if I played the game before, I won't use the same Pokemon the next time. And I've played multiple updates of this game, so if you see me not using a pretty cool dude, it's because I've probably already used it before. So I choose the Gen 9 cat, and name him Nip, and go to show these thieves what for. Of course, beat them easily, because I'm the greatest, and they let slip some info of a mysterious machine before they go to kill me. But I'm saved by a scientist who gifts me the Pokemon that I stole, impressed by my battling prowess. I return to Destiny's mom, and everything's in chaos. We're under attack. She gives me the same task I had before. Find Destiny before she causes trouble, especially now that there are criminals around. Now, this is a dangerous, time-sensitive situation. There are criminals about. Destiny could be in danger, so obviously I spend this time catching every Pokemon in every route, because there's an NPC later in the game who rewards you based on your Pokédex completion. Was it worth it? No, not at all. I wasted a lot of time, but I did it anyway. So after filling out our party, we make it back to Destiny, and she is lost because she's not the main character. Only I'm allowed to win. But it turns out she had actually won many times, in fact, but they keep re-healing their Pokemon. Well, we fight anyway, and of course, they heal their guys. We've lost. No, we can't let the pick-me girl down, though. We pledge to fight to our last breath, and before that can happen, we are saved by some guy, and he teleports them into a big hole before bringing us home, and the crisis is over. We have a little powwow with Destiny's mom and our savior, Keith, and they're like, "Who are you? How'd you get here?" And you're like, "I don't know," and they believe you, I guess. Find out the bad guys are called renegades, and not much else. But Keith, knowing we have nowhere to go, and that we're apparently the greatest Pokemon trainer of all time, invites us to join Vanguard Academy. Hey, that's the game. He is the headmaster there, and he thinks us and Destiny would make great Pokemon trainers. And we have to have a video game, so off we go. It's at this point that we get our first side quest. Now, the game has a ton of side quests and some optional areas, but I'll be skipping through most of them. Not in the game, I'll actually be playing them, but for the video, because the video is gonna be plenty long already, I'm sure. But for this first side quest, we're tasked with finding an Eevee, which we do, and we get to keep it. They're all about this level of complexity, not too complicated, but just interesting enough to be a nice pace breaker. And for doing them, you get trainer score and trainer points. Trainer points is just like a currency, and trainer score, at certain score thresholds, you get rewards. Are they worth it? Not really, but I did them all anyway. On our way to Vanguard Academy, we run into our first boss fight. It's another student, except they find out we skipped the exam. Apparently, this is a prestigious academy, and we're cheaters. So they fight us. This is Rylus, also known as Edgelord McGee, a 17-year-old girl with a bad attitude. But this will come up more later. We win the fight easily because she has less Pokemon than us, and ours are a higher level. This will not be true for very long, but right now I'm coasting. She decides we're now worthy of going to the same academy as her, but either way, she moves aside, off to fight Destiny now, and we can move on. We get to run through, catch some Pokemon in about 2 routes before we have to fight another boss battle. This time, Destiny wants to fight us before we make it to the academy. And again, we only win because we have more Pokemon. At least this time, they're not over-leveled. It was at this point, though, I started to get a little nervous because the fight was close despite her having 2 less Pokemon. It's only a matter of time before I have to build an actual team rather than just using random guys who look cool. We finally make it to Vanguard Academy, the name of the game, where we meet our instructor, Clarity, who lets us know we'll be living in the dorms here, which means it's a college, which means all the characters are adults. Ignore the fact that I think they explicitly say that we're 17 at some point. And this illustrious academy contains a whole 2 rooms. Incredible. This actually was changed at some point. It used to be a whole academy with a ton of rooms and interesting areas to explore, and they removed all of it in the most recent update. I have no idea why, but it's something you have to get used to when playing these fan games, is them ruining pieces of it for no reason. It makes it more convenient to come back to, as there are important NPCs here that give you rewards like the Pokédex Raider and stuff, but I don't think it was worth it, making it more convenient but removing all of the wonder. Once we finish the tour, we enter our dorm room and meet the cast of characters who will join us for the rest of the game. We got Zeke, the hothead with daddy issues, Rylus, the character we already met, who also obviously has daddy issues, and Calvin, the wannabe main character, who actually, now that I think about it, also has daddy issues. Though we don't learn any of that right now. Instead, we enter on them all arguing for some reason. In order to stop the argument, we have to beat someone up, and we do. And can you guess how we do it? We have more Pokemon than them. Incredible. I promise this ends soon. After beating them up, we introduce ourselves and all go to bed. While asleep, we have another dream. It's the same voice, and this time they're asking for help. Not that we learn anything, because we wake up too fast and are given our first assignment as Pokemon trainers. And what does a Pokemon trainer do? Well, what do you think? You use your Pokemon to do things. We're tasked with grouping up with Calvin and helping defeat some wild Pokemon that are harassing a farm. Exciting stuff. But of course, as soon as we get there, Calvin wants to fight, and we beat him, obviously. And for the same reason we beat everyone else, we have more Pokemon than them, and our Pokemon are a higher level. I think this will be the last time that happens. And after metaphorically giving him a swirly, we meet Chelsea, a local farm girl. And it's here that we learn that Pokemon trainers in this world are basically PMCs. We're the private military that you can pay us to help you with stuff. I mean, let's be honest, Pokemon are obviously weapons, so we're a privatized, weaponized group who do whatever you need for enough money. But right now, we're just learning how to kill, so we'll help them for free. Not that Calvin is happy about it, because he's a prick. So we clean up the farm's local rat problem. Nip evolves, pretty cool. Shin evolves, pretty cool. Haven't really talked about the team much, because it's not a team right now. Something that'll have to change once the game starts getting hard. The only other thing of note is that Chelsea vows to become a Pokemon trainer, and obviously that'll come up later. And other than that, we return, mission accomplished. During our evaluation, we finally learn what a renegade is, the bad guys of the video game. In this world, Pokemon training is regulated, meaning the liberals have won, and only certified individuals are allowed to train Pokemon. Renegades are those who refuse this rule, thus making them evil. Personally, I think that should be reserved for the dark type Pokemon. Not that anyone would ask me. Anyway, back to the story. We're told to go to Sutan, a town of some sort, I assume, to do a mysterious assignment. Not that we ever get to it, because upon arriving, first we see Zeke lose, again, because he sucks. And then we go to bed, again, for some reason. But after all that, we get a note, a mysterious note, that says they have one of our friends. So we chase him down, and we find Rylus fighting a renegade, the same renegades from before. And just like last time, they keep healing their Pokemon up, so we have to fight them. them, not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row. And after beating them 3 times in a row, the healing machine fails, and all of their Pokemon die. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Or maybe you did. But it gets worse, because then Rylus, Edgelord McGee, as I've said before, shanks the Renegade to death. Yep, I told you we were PMCs. Just straight murks this dude. In light of this, I want to talk about what it means for something to be edgy. I think in general, when we say edgy, everyone thinks of like a teenage boy, makes a dark, cool character who has guns and he kills people. What it really means is it's the author attempting to handle a topic that they have no experience with, which results in it being unrealistic and lacking depth. A child writing a war story isn't going to understand the complexities of PTSD or true evil, people who genuinely feel nothing from killing. And so a lot of people don't like edgy stuff because it's either thematically inappropriate or so unrealistic that it takes you out of the experience. So let's talk about the situation we just saw. Why is this edgy? Well, first of all, this is treated as a sudden thing, like a spur of the moment, too high on emotion, stab a guy, immediately regret it. If that's the case, this guy definitely should not be dead. Unless she's stabbing him with a spear or a machete she hid in her vagoo, the dude should not be dead. I know not all of us grew up on hugs, Fleek, but if this is how you're dying, it's from many stabs, hundreds sometimes. This is what I mean by a misunderstanding from a clear lack of experience, and it causes the scene to be very silly when I understand that's definitely not the intention. And here's the part 2 of Edge. Why is it here in the first place? It is not appropriate. I've said many times, and they even allude to it, that Pokemon are weapons. If you wanted to include murder, why aren't the Pokemon doing the murdering? It just makes sense. It fits the world. I get in this scene her Pokemon are supposed to all be fainted, but that was a writing decision. Just don't do that. And although it's talked about later, they make it very clear in this world that attacking someone with your Pokemon rather than their Pokemon is a great crime. A crime so great, even criminals don't do it because the punishment's super bad. Maybe they send a Ditto into your butthole and then it expands. Who knows? So it would be just as shocking and a lot less silly if she just attacked him with her Pokemon. What really adds to the silliness is that it's a 17-year-old girl who looks like this. I know they all think they're scary and they will ruin your life, but this isn't how. Either way, apparently we have the ability to turn back time. That mysterious voice gives us a second chance, and we stop Rylus from making the story cringe. The Renegade is arrested, and everyone is surprised that we have now defeated another Renegade. Apparently, this is very rare, making us super cool. And these Renegades are a part of the organization known as the Defiant, because they're defiant, you see. And Rylus is a bit bummed about the situation, but we give her a pep talk because having a goth girl on the team is integral to our success. And we have been so successful that we are offered a promotion. How this works is trainers are given a rank. It's basically just Pokemon Mystery Dungeon if you've ever played those. And now we're tasked with completing the Bronze Exam, which is basically a series of battles that we must complete in a row without ever changing our team or going to a Pokemon Center. We can, however, heal outside of battle using healing items. And money is pretty plentiful in this game, so really the only issue is PP. PP, as in the number of times we can use our moves. And even that, it's not really a big deal. Now, of course, in the exam, we get to go first out of all of our team members, which they do notice. And they're like, hey, wait a second. This guy's been getting a lot of special treatment, and nothing comes of that. But it is noted. And since we can't change our Pokemon throughout this entire challenge, I'll finally explain to you the team. You know, the boys. Well, actually, it's one boy, Nip, and his harem. Of course, we have Nip, a poison cat guy, our strongest of the boys, and only boy, Shin, our water fire Fletchender, our other heavy hitter. These two are my ride or die. They are on my team from here through the rest of the game. Everyone else, they do great, but need to be replaced. We got Quish, a fire ground ice cream cone, who's just kind of there. He does damage. Azazel, a steel sound type Mime Jr. He's the wall, the tank, not that useful in double battles, but could be worse. Then we got Pelf, electric bug, also tanky but does good damage, and more importantly has Electro Web, which hits both targets and slows both of them. And finally Wix, a Hoot Hoot, flying and psychic type, who is actually integral to our strategy, but not yet. You see, we make it through the whole challenge, no problem, until we get to the boss, because of course there's a boss. You have to fight Clarity, and she's using a fighting team. No problem, got a lot of flying types, and by that I mean one, and it's here that the whole not building a team thing kind of hit me, that I I couldn't do it. It was too tough. The real problem was Fake Out. Fake Out is a move that causes you to flinch every time. So normally I'd be able to outspeed in one shot. Instead, my guy gets flinched, instantly killed. I only have one flying type, so I just kind of lose. And I'm stuck here. I can't change my team, but I do have one item that you get at the very beginning of the game that I never explained. It's called the ability patch. And what it allows me to do is acquire the hidden ability of a Pokemon. And Wix's hidden ability is Dazzling, which prevents priority moves, stopping the Fake Out and making the fight possible. That is without using healing items. I will not use healing items in battle. You can, but I refuse to. So the plan is very simple. We start with Wix to block the Fake Out, who we immediately switch out for Azazel to tank a rock move while Shin spams attacks. Shin can tank one extra attack because he has a berry that makes rock moves deal less damage. Other than that, there isn't really a plan. We just keep attacking until we win. The only one left alive is Quish with a sliver of health, but that's all you need. But we win, and everyone is impressed because Keith, the boy who's supposed to be on our side, who told Clarity to use an extra strong team just for us, because we're just too cool. Of course, all the rest of our classmates also pass. No child left behind and all that. And because of that, we get the month off. Hooray. It's like summer break, sort of. But of course, we have to use this time to complete another mission. Keith wants us to go investigate some ruins. And all we learn from doing so is that we, or Destiny, are an Emiliara, whatever that means. There are, of course, some fights along the way, but we win all of them because we're so cool. Upon our success, we visit Destiny's mom. My lord is apparently a MILF hunter. And there we learn that a tournament is being held. A tournament specifically held for new trainers. So of course we have to go. And this big tournament is in the big city. I can't wait to meet all of the Bugmen. And in the big city, we meet a whole new colorful cast of characters, all of which are participating in the tournament. First, we have Laurel, daughter to the Jeff Bezos of Pokemon, but she's totally cool and doesn't like that she's rich and stuff. So despite being uptight, pushy, and self-important, she hates Rylus. So that means she's okay with me. And how do we become familiar with such a seemingly important person? Well, local chud Zeke knows her from his childhood. I know I haven't talked about Zeke much, mostly because all of his dialogue is just screaming at this point, but it's here that we learn that Zeke is the son of the greatest trainer in the region, who is also going to be hosting the local tournament. Too bad Zeke is estranged from his father. Are you excited for the upcoming drama? Perhaps he got beat one too many times, or one too few. Laurel, upon introducing herself by busting into our hotel room, invites us all to a training arc where we beat Laurel in a fight while her friend Colin watches, as he likes to do. He's a nobody character, so I will never mention him ever again, but know that he exists. We beat Calvin again. It's really starting to sink in that he sucks. Before, he was confident, real main character energy, but it's starting to seep in that he's a nobody. I mean, just look, Zeke and Laurel both come from powerful bloodlines. Us and Destiny have been given special treatment and have won basically every battle we fought. Rylus is a goth girl, and what does he have? Nothing, because he is nobody. For the next step of training, we're introduced to a platinum ranked trainer named Eris. Oh my god, he must be so strong. Really, he just brings out a stalling Dondozo that we beat with a Parasect that spams Spore, a 100% accurate sleep move. No, I am not above cheesing any of these fights. You have to use cheese to beat cheese, and the fights only get cheesier. Now that training is over, it is finally time for the tournament to start. We also meet Dareth at some point. He'll become important later, but not now, so I don't care. What really matters is it's here that we meet my favorite character, who's not in the game nearly enough. It's Zane, Zeke's brother, Chudler Supreme. He comes in, immediately insults your entire party of losers, and then dips. Incredibly based. Zeke is clearly upset by his brother. Knowing that your brother is way cooler than you will do that. Unfortunately, we're friends with the losers, so we vow to defeat him. And with that, the tournament finally begins. It's 2 rounds. Round 1, a 100-man battle royale. Defeat 3 trainers and you escape. Lose and you lose. If the footage looks a little weird at this point, it's because I lost it, so I had to steal this. It gets back to my footage soon though. Of course, we make it through. Easy, no problem. So does Zane. Easy, no problem. And he's talking about how he beat Destiny so bad that it made her cry. And of course, we have Stockholm Syndrome, so we have to defend our kidnapper. And we go in for a punch before the distorted voice, ooh, spooky, stops us. Since we can't just beat him up, we're gonna have to beat him at Pokemon Pokemon like a coward. So we comfort our girlfriend and move on to the stage 2, which is a 32-player single elimination tournament. And oh my god, the first round is against Chelsea, the farm girl. Remember her? I told you she'd be important later. She became an apprentice to some other trainer. Neat. Anyway, we beat her, no problem. But up next is the important one. It's against Zeke, and if we beat Zeke, we can fight Zane. And before our match, Laurel lets us know that we have to win, because if Zeke fights his brother, their relationship can never be repaired, and she wants the brothers to be friends again. Well, that should be no problem, because Zeke sucks, and we're the greatest. If only this fight was with my guys, because I owned them. And Zeke has his own theme song, and it's the best song in the game. Just listen to this. And you hear how low quality it is? Not in low quality as in it sounds bad, but as in the quality of the audio is bad. If anyone can find this song in high quality, I will be forever grateful. But from what I understand, it's an original song for this game, and the only way to get the song is to rip it from the game files, and the quality is really low for some reason. Anyway, so we beat Zeke no problem, except we don't beat Zeke. I hate this trope so much, but we beat him in game, but out of game, we actually pass out. Zeke ends up losing to his brother, and we all go home like nothing happened. Hooray. Back to my footage. And another day, another dollar. So we have a new assignment. We're teaming up with Zeke to help a platinum trainer scope out some mysterious individuals. And it turns out that trainer is Eris. And of course, things immediately go wrong as Zeke is sent off to go get help, and Eris runs in by themselves to fight an entire team of renegades. And these are new renegades, not the Defiance. Apparently, there are 2 evil teams. And in the background, while we're busy fighting bad guys, Destiny's mother is being blackmailed into doing some nasty things. Who knows what they'll be, but apparently Zenth, a big bad, has done Destiny a favor of some kind. And for that, Destiny's mom is now forever in his debt. That's all we know for now. Dramatic irony and all of that. So we fight our way through a bunch of cultists, making it to their boss, Vivi, from Paper Mario. And she has beaten Eris because he sucks. But of course, we win, but barely, because we run into a similar problem to the Clarity fight, where this is a Psychic type trainer, and our strongest Pokemon is a Poison type, and we have no Dark types, and 1 bug. Now, the team is mostly the same since the last time we discussed it, maybe a little different. The only important change is Posh, the Linoon. He will be our 3rd permanent member because the hidden ability of Linoon is Skill Link. And what that does is it makes all multi-hit moves hit the maximum number of times. So at level 30, he has a 100 base power move or 125 base power for Bullet Seed. And if you don't know, that's a big number. So again, we win by the skin of our teeth, only to lose in the cutscene. Because of course, Vivi, being a cult leader, has psychic powers and use it to kill us. But of course, we're saved by something. Perhaps it's our mysterious voice like before, but it causes Vivi to have an existential crisis. She's like, what have I been doing this all for if it's for nothing? Well, she decides to fight anyway. A student of Nietzsche, I guess. Not that it means anything to us, because we wake up having been knocked out for the 3rd time. And upon waking up, we're rewarded with another promotion exam. Hooray! Same deal as before, no healing, no problem. Just spam a bunch of healing items. Except this time, the final boss is Eris, and we get to beat him up. Except this time, we have to fight him for real instead of just a Dondozo that we can cheese with a Parasect. Eris has a water team and starts the fight with Rain, meaning all of his water moves are boosted. And I'm sure they have a bunch of abilities that synergize with the Rain too. This is very common for fan games, and you really have 2 options. Either A, you bring something that can clear the weather, or B, you bring something that synergizes with the weather that your opponent is creating. So for this fight, I just took a Poliwhirl. He's a water type and a sound type. Sound is super effective on water. He also has water absorb, making him a free switch in to their powerful water moves, making the fight really easy. All it took 1 Poliwhirl. The rest of the team obviously also succeeds. We have a little camp out, some family bonding, but then we wake up in the middle of the night. There's a thunderstorm, and Zeke and Destiny are missing. So we all run after him. We climb to the top of the mountain. Calvin gets injured on the way there. Can't help because he's a jobber, and it's at the top that we meet Zenth, and he's paralyzed Zeke. He's paralyzed Destiny, and he's paralyzed Clarity with his lightning powers. I assume from an electric legendary. Zapdos, maybe. Either way, we try to fight him, but the mysterious voice won't let us. I guess it got tired of turning back time. Zenth respects our cowardice and kidnaps Clarity and leaves. Rip. We make it back home. Rylus is in tears. Calvin is injured, stuck at home. Destiny and Zeke are both completely paralyzed, and we're also very big sad. And while we're moping, Zenth meets with Vivi. My god, the two big bads are friends. And Vivi instructs Zenth to kidnap us. No, why? Zenth, needing to express his dominance over Goth Girl number 2, makes it clear he's only doing this for his own goals, and will kill us if he needs to. With Destiny paralyzed, her mom comes up with a plan to cure her. We team up with the Goth Girl to head to Avaros Island, where a mysterious tribe of Eskimo people have the tools to unparalyze. Though, given what we learned earlier, I really hope we don't get betrayed. We have no memory or home, so she's basically our mom too. Whenever we get a boo-boo at school, she gets the call. And we all know love always prevails. The village leader, Nakura, prevents us from proceeding forward, demanding we complete some vision quest before battling him. Yes, him. I don't know, dog. I'm just as confused as you. We defeat some Pokemon. Nip evolves finally and becomes an absolute monster, a dragon poison type with a guaranteed crit move. His hidden ability is Avarice, which steals the opponent's item on entry, which is already an insanely strong ability, but is even better because that guaranteed crit move also reduces the attacking stats of the hit Pokemon by 1 stage if they have no item. An insanely good Pokemon if it wasn't for the fact that there are ice types everywhere, and I constantly forget to take the item off of Nip, and you can't exactly steal something if your hands are already full. Shin and Posh also both evolve. Posh finally learning a multi-hit fairy move, as he's a fairy normal type, leaving us with 3 absolute monsters and 3 nearly useless Pokemon, which is why I had to remake the team again. With our best Pokemon being weak to ice, we're not winning the hail battle with 3 useless team members. Wix, the flying psychic type, weak to ice, is replaced with Vishna, not to be confused with Vishnu, who we must curse. Vishna is a bug fairy type who also has Dazzling. The only important thing here is that Dazzling stops Fake Out, and she's not weak to ice. We then have Visp, the Archeops. Now, if you don't know, in regular Pokemon, Archeops is insanely overpowered, but is given a terrible ability that halves its attacking stats at half HP. In this, you can just switch the ability to Early Bird. Not a great ability, but it's better than something that's actively bad. So, despite being weak to ice, she's going to be our 4th permanent member of the team because she's just so strong. Acrobatics is a broken move, 115 base power. Next, we have Vrish, the Rock Ghost Arcanine. He's really only important because he knows Rock Slide, a spread rock move, which is super effective on ice. He also has Intimidate, which is always nice, which is why he's not a permanent member, but he stays on the team for quite a long time. And unfortunately, I had to bench Nip. Just for this fight, Ice is super effective on Dragon, and he kept dying immediately. I replaced him with Flims, an electric ground Mantine. Mantine? I don't know. And he's nearly useless because he's weak to ice. But he's important for 2 reasons. 1, he's the only Pokemon I can use whose ability will change the weather. You could also get a Water Vulpix who summons rain on entry, but I already used him on a previous playthrough. But Flims has Sand Spit, which summons Sandstorm whenever he gets hit. And then he also knows Wide Guard, which blocks spread moves, you know, like Blizzard. The only problem is, if you click Wide Guard, the opponent just won't use Blizzard. It won't actually block anything. The AI cheats, but it's good as a preventative measure. Honestly, this was way overkill for this fight, but I lost 1 time and I didn't want to lose again. So we end up winning with 2 guys left at full health, and that's with Rock Slide missing 3 times on the Weavile. So we proceed forward, and of course it's Zenth. We're immediately knocked out. For the 4th time, we're now in prison. We've been betrayed by Destiny's mom. We scream at her. Why? Why would our mom sort of do this? And she hits us with the, I never cared about you at all. Cold, but fair. Of course, we're sad for a second, but then Rylus gives us a pep talk, and we use our obese weight to jump through the floor. While this happens, Destiny talks to Zenth. Zenth lets her know she's a slave permanently. Not sure what she expected. If he was willing to kill her daughter, I don't know why he would suddenly not be willing to kill her daughter. She accepts her fate, though, because she's no good, very bad. I'm sure she would kidnap 1,000 children if that's what it took. And it does. So we escape the cave with Edgelord McGee, and we meet up with Nakura, at which point Rylus breaks his hand. All right, level with me here. How? How does she do this? How does a 17-year-old skinny goth girl break a grown man's, apparently, hand? Go ahead, I'm waiting. Explain it to me. I'll listen. I'm a reasonable guy. There is quite literally nothing less threatening in the world than a white girl who thinks she's tough trying to hurt you. Do you see what I'm talking about when I say edgy stuff just ends up making things silly? Like, this is a silly premise. A tiny white girl breaking a dude's hand. Like, I get it. The guy's kind of fruity, but there's no man that fruity. In fact, it could be a small woman breaking another small woman's hand, and it would still be unreasonable. As an Italian teenager, my Italian mother attacked me with a metal spatula many times, and it was far more funny than it was threatening. Small women are not known for their strength. You can just kind of grab their wrists and they can't do anything anymore. Although eventually they do get frustrated, and then they start to hit you in like the funny bone, and that hurts. Even assuming this is possible and she can break his hand no problem, there's no consequence to this. Like, the dude's just like, ah, and then he's booling after. He's fine. So what was the point of the scene? It was just to make Rylus seem cool, and instead it just makes the story seem stupid. Either way, Nakura admits that he's part of a family who is destined to protect the Emiliara family. If you remember, that's what we learned about Destiny in the Forbidden Temple. Well, he says originally he wanted to go with the plan of betraying us, but he figured it would be better for Destiny if he helped us instead. Zenth is a real psycho after all, so we come up with a plan to reach the control room and send a message to the Trainer Association to come help us. That way we can both escape and take down the Defiance. So we make it to the control room, and we see a list of names of Defiance members. And Rylus sees a name that freaks her out, but we don't get any more information because Zenth busts in, knocks everyone out. We come to for like, I don't know, the 20th time. I'm losing count at this point. And he orders Destiny's mom to kill us. He's tired of Vivi, I guess. And he lets her know that if she kills us, her and Destiny will go free forever, slave and no longer. So of course, we have to Pokemon battle our way out of this. And she has a team of all Eevees. And this is a fan game, so of course Eevee is broken. Luckily, Posh is just really strong, and we one-shot them a bunch of times. Upon winning, Destiny's mom realizes the error of her ways and tells us to save her daughter from this evil, evil man. We are her first and only friend, after all. And to help with that, she lets us know some forbidden knowledge, that we are a warden of a prison, I guess. But the knowledge is so forbidden that we are transported to an empty field. There, we hear the mysterious voice speaking of what I assume are your lost memories. But then you wake up for, I don't know, the 50th time, 500th time, I don't know. We get knocked out a lot. And it's the Trainer Association. They're here with Zeke's dad to beat Zenth to death. But he escapes through the power of lightning. So basically nothing was accomplished. Hooray. And then we pass out again. Dude, you gotta find a new thing. Something. Anything. Point is, we wake up again from being knocked out again to Destiny being unparalyzed. She's perfectly fine. And she drags us to Keith for a debriefing. Destiny now knows her mom is evil. Zenth has escaped, and he has no idea what a warden is. Incredible. Back to our room we go. I don't even think we go to sleep. I think we just knock ourselves out with a vase every night. It seems more natural at this point. Well, Keith lets us know that it's time for another promotion. Our training is being sped up because the Trainers Association has figured out that we are the Defiance's primary target, and the rest of the crew is being dragged along because, why not? We're given some time to train beforehand, and by train, I mean just doing all the rival fights again. Our team is cracked. Just replace Vrish with Nip and we're good to go. We destroy all of them no problem, except for Rylus, who's actually gone missing, dun dun dun, and she left a note for us on our bedside, finally revealing her edgy backstory. It turns out she was a little girl in a small village, and every week she would go to the market with some money her dad gave her to buy stuff. And one day when she went to the market, her dad gave her way too much money and asked her to buy an item that wasn't even there. And upon returning, oh no, the village is burned down, everyone is dead, and her brother is missing. So she changed her name to Rylus, vows to avenge her family and find her brother, and she's decided to run away because she realized she wasn't really doing the whole avenging or the whole finding thing anymore. So off she goes to do that. Anyway, back to promotion time, which is just fighting Keith, and he has a Trick Room team. What Trick Room does is it makes slow Pokemon go first and fast Pokemon go second. The trick to beating a Trick Room team is to one-shot the Trick Room setter before he can do it, and now their team doesn't do anything anymore. You're just faster than all of them and always go first. So that was easy. Keith then, in his office, alone, calls a mysterious individual and talks about our warden status. And the mysterious individual is intrigued. We don't learn anything else though. Now that we're gold rank, we get to leave Vanguard Academy for good. Sad. It's at this rank that you join the guild of a real trainer, not just a school. I don't know, it's basically a school again. It's like going from bachelors to masters, I guess. Of course, the whole crew chooses Zeke's dad's guild, so off we go. But before that, Destiny talks to her uncle and figures out where the other Emiliaras are, and they just so happen to be in the exact same place we were going anyway. How convenient. So now off we go. Except, of course, the train we're on gets hijacked. It's no problem. We fight the bad guys. The head bad guy has a neutralizing gas team, an ability that makes other abilities not work anymore. So his other teammate is a Slacking, who normally has the ability Truant, making it only able to attack every other turn. But without that ability, it's incredibly OP. So we just kill the neutralizing gas guy and never attack the Slacking, and the fight is super easy. The bad guy gets away anyway, so it didn't really matter. We meet a character called Ryland, who's a strong trainer who will come up later, I guess. Moving on. So we find the Emiliara household. There's only one person there, Otaru, and she spills all the beans. Destiny is an Emiliara. Emiliaras, there's like none of them left. They're special because they have superpowers. Destiny's mom isn't an Emiliara, but her dad is, and he abandoned her at birth because she was paralyzed. So off her mom went to go cure her paralysis, assumedly by Zenth or one of his buddies, and that's the story so far. But of course, this is a Pokemon game, so we have to battle Hotaru too. We win no problem, with the assumption that we'll get a great favor later. And off we go to Izeka's guild, Zeke's dad. And of course, the gang's all here. It's all the people from the big tournament. Laurel's here, Zane's here, my boy. He's basically just Kaiba. I love him. Colin's there, the guy who watches and has no value as a character at all. Dareth is here. You know Dareth, that guy. Anyway, after our introductions, our teacher lets us know what the school's gonna be like. And it's like school. We have to go to class and stuff. That's cringe. There's even a quiz, and there's a battle class, and part of battle class is fighting Laurel. Why? Because we have to embarrass her for having such a terrible team. And this becomes important later, much later. She has a psychic terrain team full of slow, powerful psychic types. It's like a Trick Room team, except she doesn't use Trick Room. So I just lead with Moja, who has neutralizing gas, meaning no psychic terrain, and now they're both weak and slow. Incredible team building. After embarrassing Laurel, we're given a field task to investigate a mountain. It's here that we discover a renegade, my god. And upon fighting them, the bridge collapses and we fall into the abyss. We have some chit chat, as you do, and we learn this is a teenage Defiance member. I can't believe they recruit so young. Now don't you feel bad about killing all those Defiance people? Not that we've done that, but you've certainly thought about it. But I've always said that child soldiers are soldiers, so I feel nothing. Anyway, we decide to team up to escape, and we find an old Defiance facility. There we learn the Defiance is building a weapon. Spooky. Anyway, we escape. A escapes. Nothing is gained or lost. But Dareth was there. You know Dareth? We love Dareth. He's integral to the story. Calvin, on the other hand, is busy running in circles because he's sad that he's a loser and everyone else is special. This isn't really important. I just like making fun of Calvin because he sucks. Also, while this all happens, there is an alliance meeting going on. Now, what is the alliance? Haven't really talked about it. Hasn't come up till now. The alliance is basically the UN of the Pokemon world. All of the regions form an alliance and send representatives to talk about stuff, I guess. I assume like the real UN, they're also completely useless. I condemn their condemning. The important point is, though, that the Jeff Bezos sent his daughter to the meeting instead of him going. His other daughter, not Laurel. Laurel's not important. She also sucks. And that's all we know for now. It'll become important later. We, on the other hand, have the week off, and we're gonna use that time to go to a festival that has a tournament. So we're skipping straight to the tournament. There's some other stuff that happens in between. It's not important, I promise. Dareth signs us up for chores. You know Dareth. And we might as well just skip to the end of the tournament too, because it's just more rival fights that we complete no problem. We beat Calvin again, and he's upsetty spaghetti because he's the biggest loser. And we get to the finals, which is against Zane, my boy. But we gotta show him who's boss. He thinks he's the best, and we all know it's us. Not that it'll be easy. He'll be the strongest opponent we've ever fought. He's never lost before. In reality, of course, I beat him first try. Ain't no problem. This team is cracked, dude. Shin, my boy, who's been with us since the beginning of the game, I never told you her hidden ability because it didn't matter until now. Because it's at this point that Shin learns Tailwind. You see, her hidden ability is Gale Wings, which gives flying moves priority, meaning they go first. And Tailwind doubles the speed of our entire party for 4 turns, which is plenty of time for our team built completely of heavy hitters, things that one-shot but also get one-shot, to outspeed and kill everything. Now, someone who's better than everyone and crushes the weak beneath their feet, mocking them all along the way, is super cool, Giga Chad. But if that person loses, they're now a loser. They're a clown. So he runs away crying. Pathetic. He's no longer my favorite guy. Once the tournament is over, we have to go confront Calvin, make him feel better for being a massive baby, and doing so, we get lured into a trap. We find Vivi. Remember her, the cult leader? And she's here to kill us. Oh no. A mysterious voice is what drew us here. We tell Vivi that, for some reason, and she states we're regaining our abilities. And then she hits us with the realest question of them all. Are you willing to die to save the world? No! I am the world. I'll kill all of you if I have to. So it's Pokemon battle time. And unsurprisingly, she cannot handle thing that is faster than you and kills you in one hit. But of course, it doesn't matter. Just like last time, she has superpowers, because I guess having magical animal creatures wasn't enough. But Hotaru saves us, because she also has superpowers. And off we go. Not that that matters either, because she loses. But right before we then die, along with all of our friends, Ryland saves us. See, I told you he would come up. He was told to keep an eye on us since we're the center of all this nonsense. But of course, before he can execute Vivi for her crimes, she uses her superpowers to teleport us to an island, which gives us a vision of the mysterious voice again, telling us we'll have to betray our friends to save the world. All right, I guess. We meet with Vivi on the island. She asks us, which would we choose, our friends or the world? We say our friends, because we're a good guy. You are my world, psychic hag lady. And she appreciates our answer and teleports away, saying she'll no longer try and kill us. Hooray. And again, we went through a bunch of turmoil and have accomplished nothing. I guess it could be worse. Flash now to Rylus. She's having a tough time. Someone knocks on the door. Knock, knock. They're like, please help me, let me in. So she does, only to get hit by Nakura. And he's like, hey, I know where your brother is. But first, you have to go meet with my lord again. That's us, because the Defiance is building a weapon. And Vivi has told him that we are the key to defeating it. How? Why? I don't know. And neither does he, but we have to move the plot forward. And again, we flash, except this time to Zane, my boy. He's moping, having a bad time, never lost before. Chelsea busts in with that Southern girl charm and gets him to open up a little bit, because a loser male can't help but break under any female attention at all. So off they go to mingle in the woods. While they're off doing whatever, Connor, our teacher, ranks us, and we get ranked third below Dareth. You know Dareth, that guy? He gets second. Zane gets first, which is fine, I guess, because they didn't get to see us absolutely obliterate him. But still, third? Dareth? He's better than us? Anyway, we meet up with Rylus. Some stuff happens. It's not important, Pokemon battles, yada yada, and we learn where her brother is. It's on this mountain, so off she goes to run to the mountain, and we chase after her because the mountain is a volcano. Ooh, scary, and it's full of Defiance members. I mean, unsurprisingly, because her brother is a Defiance member. Dun dun dun. Yeah, you remember A? That was him. A was her brother. Good thing we were nice to him. So we make it to the top of the volcano, center of the volcano part of the volcano, and there he is. It's A, and Zenth, the biggest bad of them all. And just to add insult to injury, he lets A know he's been duped this whole time. He had only been working with the Defiance to pay off his family's debt and set them free, but they're all dead, and now he will die. But of course, Rylus comes in at the last moment. Dareth is also here for some reason and reunites with her brother so that they can both die together. We have to save the day, and before we go to this fight, since it's a big fight, I'll show you the team, and this is the final team. I do not change my team ever again from this point on. It's just too good. The last two permanent party members are Nims, the Super Indeedee, and her ability is Psychic Terrain. What that does is it makes it so priority moves no longer work anymore. It's the same thing as Dazzling, except it stays on the field even when Nims dies. And even more important than that is she learns Follow Me, which makes it so the opponent can only target her, and she's a tank. So basically, she takes all the hits while the fast attackers kill everything in one hit. She doesn't know it now, but she also later learns Wide Guard, which again, only works sometimes, but it's more important in that it prevents widespread moves from even being used. Honestly, it's not as helpful as you think because the AI cheats, so if you use Follow Me, they'll use spread moves to ignore it, and if you use Wide Guard, they'll avoid spread moves. So either way, you're kind of screwed. Luckily though, this doesn't come up that often because again, the whole team is fast attackers. So if there's someone who's doing a lot of cheating, you just kill them before they can even attack. And then our final member is Fwim, the electric psychic deer, and he's really only there for two reasons. One, he's a psychic type, and I want another psychic type who's a fast, strong attacker to take advantage of the psychic terrain. Psychic terrain also boosts psychic moves, unsurprisingly, but his ability is Berserk, which boosts his special attack at low health. So you can intentionally get him to low health, and then after that, spam Follow Me on Nims, and he'll just one-shot everything, even tanks. So that's the full team, and it never changes from now, so I won't bring it up anymore. Like I said though, our team's cracked, so we beat Zenth with 3 full health party members using the plan I just told you. And like many battles before it, the win didn't matter at all. As soon as the battle ends, a bunch of more Defiance appears. He laughs at us and is like, haha, I still win. Then we use our superpowers to reveal his backstory. That's a real good superpower. I wish I had the one that shot lightning. It turns out Zenth was an abused boy. He was blind and his family was poor, so they were mean to him for being blind. So he burned the town down, his house down specifically, I guess, and I assume the fire spread. He is then adopted by Kaya, the leader of the Defiance, because I guess they just needed more troublemakers to cause trouble. Anyway, Kaya's dream is to breach the Imonachni. This is a barrier that surrounds the world. In this game, the Pokemon universe is unironically flat Earth, and the whole world is surrounded by a barrier. That's the Imonachni. See, there's a bunch of lore I didn't tell you about. It didn't seem important at the time. Basically, Pokemon were all evil. They were keeping the people down. Then some guy, he learned how to raise Pokemon, taught everyone else how to train Pokemon, and they defeated all of the bad Pokemon. This guy, he died in the process, but created a barrier to keep all the bad Pokemon out, and that is the Imonachni. So Kaya wants to pierce that, and Zenth loves his mom, so he now also wants to pierce that to see what's on the other side. Zenth is a psycho though, and that psychotic break had to happen at some point, and it's from Kaya being killed. She got shot, like with a gun in Pokemon land. All right, I guess. And because she's dead, Zenth usurps her. We then get some flashbacks of him meeting with Vivi for the first time until Vivi notices us. You know, us, the character who's viewing this, and our flashback ends. And the flashback bought us enough time for all of our friends to show up. Zane hits him with a Flare Blitz. Again, I thought it was a great crime to attack people with their Pokemon, but I guess it's fine. Too bad Zenth runs away with his lightning powers. but for once, we actually catch up this time. And Rylus beats him up, not with her Pokemon, like with her fists. A tiny 17-year-old girl. Whatever, I'm over it. Anyway, we save the day, we all go home. Hooray! We actually captured a villain for once. I'm sure he'll never escape, and we'll never see him again. We now get a glimpse into a conversation between Sonia, one of the Defiance people, and the leader of the Defiance, Delta, and he's a man on the inside. He's part of the Trainer Association, likely high up, and he says at the time of the attack, when they use the big scary weapon, they will free Zenth, and the weapon is given 2 goals: kill Zenth and destroy Arlen, the city that the tournament took place in. Ooh, spooky. He also says he will die on that day. Even spookier, but we will defeat them because Rylus tells Izika and Keith about the weapon and how I am the solution to the weapon. They're also told the time and place of the attack, so we will be ready. And to get us ready, we go on an expedition. The gang splits up into teams of 4, each given a field task. Ours is to catch a thief who has stolen some dinosaur bones. I'm going to mostly skip over this. Turns out there is no thief. It was Eris the whole time, just trying to lure us into a testing ground where Dareth fails supremely because he sucks and we're the greatest. Everyone begins to trust us more as a leader as I lead them to victory. Upon completing our task, Eris reveals to us that his plan is to become champion. I don't know how he's gonna do that because he also sucks. We've beaten him many times now, but I'm sure it's only up from here for him. And thanks to our mission success, we can now take another promotion exam. Hooray! And all we have to do is beat Izika, the greatest trainer in the region, and Eris, who sucks. Of course, Izika's using his B team, so it shouldn't be too bad. He's using a Sun team, not so surprising, given his children also use Sun teams. So I just teach Shin Rain Dance, and it's no problem. He ends up setting up the Sun again anyway, but it buys me time to get 2 free kills, and after a 2-for-1, he has no chance of winning. My guys are just too fast and too strong. Now for Eris, I don't even bother getting rid of the weather. It's just a classic follow me while Posh one-shots everything. He's just too strong. See, as soon as Nims dies and I can't use follow me anymore, I just have priority tailwind and then I outspeed everything. So Posh is able to take out 3 Pokemon by himself without them ever getting to attack. Easy money. Eris sucks. You're never becoming champion as long as I exist. May he only hope this is the worst thing that happens to him. It's no question we were going to succeed, and like every other time, the whole gang succeeds. Except that's not true. Actually, Zane and Laurel both fail. Laurel because her team is terrible, and Zane because Chelsea had softened his heart and has now made him terrible at battling. Unfortunate. You know what they say, behind every great man is a woman trying to ruin his success. Not that this is of any consequence, because they can just take the test again. What it's meant to do is soften you towards Zane, because look, he's not so psycho anymore. But it's the opposite. He was cool before. Well, now that we're all trained up, it's time. It's time for the big day. Arlen is going to be under attack, but we're going to get to them first, because the Defiance base is buried under the city, and we know where it is. It'll be a 3-pronged attack. The best of the best will head into their base and destroy them at the source. Group B will hang out in the city, preventing anyone from escaping. In Group C, our group will help evacuate the citizens of Arlen. It's an unshakable plan. We cannot lose. Of course, Group A makes it to their boss, no problem. And it's time to reveal him. Who is the leader of the Defiance? My God, it's the chairman. See, we already knew he was a mole, but he's the biggest mole of them all. He was the leader of the Trainers Association. Oh no, it was a trap. Who could have guessed? And Eris has made it to the weapon. He can stop it before it even starts, and it kills him immediately. Rip. No! How will he become champion now as a corpse? Calvin, useless as ever, realizes his parents haven't been evacuated and runs into the city. We naturally chase after him. We have to go stop that weapon after all. And if things couldn't get worse, Zenth breaks out of prison, as was the plan. Except unlike the plan, he's killed all the Defiance members who freed him. He knows he's being betrayed, and he's going to Arlen anyway. Who knows what his plan is? It can't be good. I just want to note here, they keep using "ack" in the dialogue and have been doing it in the entire game, and it makes me laugh every time. Back to the story. It turns out that the Defiance had collapsed their entire base on top of all of the trainers. And as I said before, all of our best dudes were in there. Luckily, Azika survives, and he immediately engages the weapon. We already know he can't deal with it, it. So we make our way there, fight our way through the city. Of course, the actual context is we're trying to find Calvin, but we hate Calvin. I'm here to enact my destiny. Of course, this was a trap planned all along by the Defiance, so them sinking their own base barely got any of their own guys, and the rest of the dudes popped out later to assault the city. So we fight our way through those guys and make our way into the crater where we find Ryland. He gives us the lowdown, tells us not to cause trouble, which we're going to do anyway. The whole fight on the weapon thing, not going so hot. It's seemingly invincible. So Izika tells Ryland to just go do something more useful while he stalls. Falling boulders separate us from Destiny. I know I didn't mention it, but she's been with us the whole time. But now she's not. And off we go to the center to fight the weapon. But before that, flashback time. It's Zane and his brother Zeke. You remember Zeke? And they're finally starting to make up. And Zeke doesn't blame his brother. He blames his dad. Why do the dads always get everything? Yeah, don't blame the mom who's not even there. Oh well. I'm sure this scene has no implications for the future. The boys are busy fighting on the rooftops. Look, Dareth is there, so they can't lose. Except they are losing. There's too many of them. But Zeke decides to bail anyway. He's going to enter the crater and help his dad. Meanwhile, Destiny runs into Zenth and decides to Pokemon battle him, because that's worked so many times before. Zane has run out of Pokemon completely and decides to enter the crater anyway. And Calvin has finally found his family. Although he is useless to everyone else, at least he's not useless to himself. I hate Calvin. We finally make it to the center of the crater, and we find Izika has run out of Pokemon. But the weapon notices that Zeke has arrived and dashes after him. I didn't explain this before, but the weapon was meant to target someone with Zenth's energy signature, whatever that means. And Zenth, when he broke out of prison, mentioned that 3 other people also have his energy signature and would be there. Did he mean Zeke? Did he mean us? Who knows? Either way, off the weapon went to attack Zeke, but just in time. Zane, he has redeemed himself. He jumps in front of the blow and dies. Oh no, no, my favorite character. And he got like 2 lines. I promise I shoved him into this video probably even more than I should have. He's not in the game enough and he's already died. Big sad. Not big sad. Destiny wins her battle, except it doesn't matter because it's never mattered. Did you forget about the superpowers? Zenth charges up a giant super lightning beam, shoots it at her, and Marshall jumps in the way. You know, Marshall, that guy I've mentioned 100 times in this video so far. He's a super important character. I didn't mention him before because he genuinely does not matter at all. You meet him for the first time at Azika's guild. He's one of your guild mates, and he's in love with Destiny, and now he is dead. He got lightning to death. And this makes Destiny so mad that she unlocks her superpower of Mega Evolution. Doesn't matter though. Did you forget Zenth can teleport with lightning? So off he goes. Now it's finally our turn. We've made it to the center. We are the key to defeating the weapon. But before we can, Azika lets out a grand speech before a rip. Anyway, Pokemon battle time. The boss battle is just a 2v1 versus a super powered, ultra, super strong, invincible Pokemans. And you beat him just by hitting him until he dies and hoping you don't die first. My team isn't really built for this because I have no ground types against this poison psychic and only 1 dark type. But we make it through and it doesn't matter. We beat it in a Pokemon battle and it's still standing. When is Pokemon battling ever going to accomplish anything? Well, we have our grand speech because we're probably about to die, and we jump in to a small town with all of our friends. It looks like we did the big die and we're in a purgatory of some sorts. And by progressing through, we finally get to meet the mysterious voice. And it turns out we're not dead, only that we're going to die. That we're chosen by this voice to become a warden, whatever that is, not because we were the smartest or the strongest, but because we wanted to save the world. So it's time to go save the world. The mysterious voice awakens our powers. We summon wind, tornadoes. Not that they do anything, but all of our allies did not die in vain. They have weakened the robot, and so have we. So it's time for one more Pokemon battle. This time a 1v1, much more annoying, but we win anyway. And it didn't matter. Again, Pokemon battles don't do anything in this game. Instead, we use all of those tornadoes to punch the robot to death. At least we get to use the superpowers to win this time. Okay, I've been making fun of this a lot. I'm not really trying to make fun of it, but it's just inherently silly. It's like a hat on a hat. If you see someone wearing a hat with a hat on their hat, it's pretty silly because we already have superpowered powered animals that we all have the ability to control, why do we need superpowers too? It's a little much, especially when the main gameplay involves the superpowered animals, not our superpowers. Yet, plot-wise, the Pokemon aren't very important, but the superpowers have determined like every fight. Now, I'm not gonna harp on it any further because the game kind of remedies this later, so we'll pick this back up then. Anyway, the day is saved. Hooray! We won! Too bad the Trainers Association has been decimated. Most of the high-ranking trainers are dead. Ryland lived. Remember him? So that's cool. And with all of the powerful trainers dead, the whole crew gets promoted to Platinum rank, which is the real trainer rank. We are no longer students. That is all of the crew that's alive. All this means is that we now work under Ryland and no more training. Finally. Now, I didn't mention it before, but Izika is not the champion of this region. That's why I always called him the strongest trainer. The actual champion, Xavier, was actually off doing something else. I don't know. Izika even mentions during the big fight, he regrets not having Xavier come to help. Well, he's here now to help patch things up now that everyone's dead. And his first order of business is to meet up with us because we have superpowers and that needs to be discussed. But rather than go himself, he sends his apprentice, who we meet up with and immediately run into assassins. Isn't that great? We beat them no problem, but why are there assassins sent after us? Well, we just assume it's after the apprentice. Still kind of weird though. Well, we get a flashback to the chairman. How did he become the chairman? He was just a teacher, but Sionsta? I don't know. The Jeff Bezos puts him into power as a pawn, and he doesn't like it. Big rich guy? Evil? Who to guess? We don't have time to dwell on this, as we have a new mission. Ryland, Dareth, Chelsea, and Zeke have gotten trapped on a mountain, and the Pokemon are going crazy. We must go save them. We arrive, and Zeke is knocked out. Rylus is chilling. Dareth and Chelsea, nowhere to be seen. They're further ahead. Something seems fishy. Flashback. Ryland gave us some info that it turns out Dareth and Chelsea are not from this region. They're illegals, just like us. And the punishment is death. We meet them at the top of the mountain, and dun dun dun, they're evil now. No, not Dareth. You know, Dareth, the most important character? No! He was our best friend. The attack on Arlen had caused them to regain their memories. They were just like us. They're also wardens, and apparently wardens are bad guys. They find out we did not regain our memory and have decided that we are now their enemy and will kidnap us. And it is here it's finally revealed that the superpowers are not superpowers. They are legendary Pokemon. I really wish this wasn't a reveal, because it's far more reasonable for Pokemon to be the driving force in a Pokemon game than superpowers. Pokemon on their own, pretty cool. Superpowers on their own, pretty cool. Pokemon and superpowers. It's a hat on a hat. A bit silly. Anyway, we now have to fight with our newfound legendary. It's an unlosable fight between Rayquaza and Reshiram before having a real Pokemon battle, which we win easily because my team is unbeatable. And it doesn't matter. For the 100th time, winning the Pokemon battle didn't mean anything. They really need to stop doing this. Just skip the Pokemon battle. Or let me lose if winning doesn't matter. So they kidnap us anyway, and we're saved by Xavier, the champion. He flies up and knocks us out of the sky, and we awake in our bed for 7th time, I think, in the game. I don't know. It happens a lot. No time to dwell on it, because we have to find Zenth. But by the time we get to him, he's already defeated Ryland, and he just lightnings away, as he likes to do. But what's this? We get framed for all of his murders. No! Is it by the same people who sent those assassins? Who knows? It doesn't matter, because before we can get arrested, Vivi saves us. Remember Vivi, the one who tried to kill us a bunch of times? She's a good guy now. All right, the game is almost over. So we learned this over the course of several events, but I'm just gonna hit you with all the lore real fast. Mostly because I skipped a bunch of stuff because it didn't matter before. Well, it matters now. There are two ruling parties in this region, the Trainers Association and the Royalty. There's a queen, but the queen is sick. So all of the power rests upon the princess, a young girl who Jeff Bezos has tricked into doing whatever he says. So now with the Trainer Association essentially decimated, he can take over the entire region now that he has control over the monarchy. All that's left is to destroy the last remnants of the Trainer Association, which that means Xavier and us. He does this by having the Royal Guard try and arrest us and all of our friends while putting Xavier on trial for the disaster at Arlen because he's the champion of the region. He should have been there. So the plan is at that trial to turn the tables on him. He's been doing two very bad things. One, he's been making the devices that revive Pokemon for the Defiance. Yeah, remember those? The game kind of forgets about those until now. And then two, the queen is very sick. And by very sick, I mean dead. She's been dead this whole time and he's just been lying. So we need to find her corpse. Then we can use his own daughter, not Laurel, his other daughter, to reveal this at the trial and usurp the company. So we do all that. There's some gameplay in between. Laurel has like, oh, I don't know if I should go against my dad. I'm so scared, but I will just for you. Anyway, we do it. Hooray, day is saved. But he wasn't even there. It was an astral projection. All right, I guess. It turns out he was in the royal castle all along with the princess, and he kidnaps her by making the entire castle fly into the sky. All right, but we have wind powers, remember? We're the Warden of Wind, so we use Rayquaza to fly up with Laurel to go defeat her father and save the princess. Of course, there's some defenses. Defense is so strong that it takes us to keep it at bay while Laurel runs off to defeat her father. And here it is, the payoff for me constantly making fun of Laurel's team for being terrible, because we have to use her team to defeat the final boss. The trick was to lose and then change the party around, so I started with different guys and then it was winnable. But of course, that can't actually be the end. He is evil and he's like, I'll take all of you with me. I'm going to crash the castle into the earth, maybe take out a city too. But the princess, she redirects the castle so it'll crash into the ocean instead. That still won't save us though. But of course, again, we have wind powers. Xavier is a flying guy, it seems. Flying champion of some kind. So he saves the day. We all get saved. Hooray! And with that, the Defiance is finally defeated. For real this time. Except Zenth, I guess. But what about the Wardens? And the weapon? Where did that come from? And what about the mysterious voice? Well, I told a little fib. Not really a fib, it's a lie of omission. See, the thing is, this game isn't actually done. I know, look at how long this video is. It's not even over. Well, an unfortunate black pill I have to give you all is if you ever play a fan game, you have to assume it's never getting updated again. Maybe it'll get another update. Maybe it won't. Everyone making these is doing it for free and only for as long as they're having fun, and they can and will stop at any time for any reason. This is 40 hours of gameplay. It is plenty long enough to be considered a full game. Sure, not all of our questions were answered, but we got a full arc completed. We defeated the evil team. That's good enough, right? It's like a TV show. This is season 1. Maybe you'll get a season 2, but that doesn't mean you'll wait for the whole series to be done just to watch season 1. And I know, given you had the entire game spoiled for you, that a lot of you won't play it anyway, which you should. A Pokemon game is an adventure, and it's not much of an adventure for me just telling you how everything happens. You'll have a completely different team. You get to catch some cool guys. Trust me, it's fun. Not to mention, I skipped all of the side quests and basically all of the dialogue that wasn't directly plot related. Not that you'll listen anyway, which is why I told a second fib. Again, another lie of omission. At the beginning of the video, I said the best Pokemon game was made by a fan and implied it's this game, but it's not. The best Pokemon fan game is Pokemon Tectonic, which is complete. So go play that. I do a video on that game, but I didn't record the whole thing. I'm a fool. This game's great too, though. I think what really holds it back is that the combat is not that great. It's just the AI is really bad. They'll never switch. They're not capable of it, which is why you have the AI designed to cheat. It's the only way to make the game hard in any way. The story could also use a little bit of work. I think I said most of what I wanted to say. The biggest problem just being a lot of the characters are pointless. There are a whole lot of them, and most of them aren't very interesting. And it's very annoying how the gameplay and the plot are almost completely unrelated. You'll win a Pokemon battle and then actually lose the Pokemon battle. Or you'll win a Pokemon battle and it didn't matter because superpowers. That's just kind of lame. But altogether, still a great game. I had a lot of fun, and should the game ever get updated, I'll play it again. Anyway, thanks for sticking around this long. It's finally over. This took forever to make, so unless this does insanely well, I'll probably never do it again. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, hype, do all the things if you want me to make another video like this. Oh yeah, and if you want to download for the game, just Google it. It has its own website and everything. All right, bye.